Let's go to the Fenway Bowl. We got a UNC team. No Mac Brown. Mac Brown's gone. All right. I don't know what his role is with the team. Now it's going to be leading up to this. I don't know. All right. What I do know is that this UConn team is kind of live. All right. They're kind of live. This is a short spread. UNC is only favored by 2.5 points. That's what we're going to pick it at, right? And then I guess earlier in the weeks you could have gotten it at 2. So I guess like there's money coming in on UNC, but let's let's not forget about UConn right here. They've they've been a pretty solid team so far this year. If you ask me, for their standards, they're a top 40 scoring offense in the country. They're top 60 scoring defense in the country. And look, playing the independent schedule for UConn is not always easy. All right, it's not always easy. So
No,
I think, and part of the year they were starting the wrong quarterback. Like, this is a team that's pretty live here. I would be very nervous if I was North Carolina heading into this football game.
yeah, you have a couple of actually really nice wins on your schedule, and it's headlined by Buffalo. And if you don't know, Buffalo is one of the better teams in the MAC this year. They won 8 games in the MAC. I get it, whatever, it's the MAC, but it's a
They've
very
been
good
winning bowl
coaching staff
games.
there.
The MAC has been winning bowl games, except for
Matt,
Bowling Green.
yeah, which whatever. But they also played a couple teams in the out of conference in the ACC pretty damn closely, right? Duke, a team right that beat UNC, right? Wake Forest, right? Syracuse, two teams. That obviously Wake Forest isn't whatever, but Syracuse obviously finished won 10 games. They won their 10th game, 10 games in Fred Brown's year one. So listen, I think it's very, very interesting. I think they've also been kind of flip flopping quarterbacks. You've had some injuries, you've had some other things going on. Fagano's the guy, right? I really like him. He's not super efficient, right? 56% completion percentage. I get that, but he takes care of the football and he does not take sacks. That is something that I love. And if you're playing a UNC team who will get into who's going to be playing, who's not going to be playing, K'Mon Rucker, right? One of the better players in the ACC is not playing for them. That's their defensive line for North Carolina. Also, no Amari Campbell, right? Those are big, big losses in that front seven. I get it. Robinson, the running back for UConn, is not going to be playing there. Terrell Robinson's heading over to Auburn. He was fantastic. He averaged 6.8 yards per carry for you on over 100 carries. That's very, very efficient, very, very good. I get that. That explosiveness, might not be there. But you also have Cam Edwards, right? 120 carries. You have Mel Brown, 107 carries as well. Both of those guys averaged over 5.4 yards per carry. I like UConn in the spot here. At +2, I'll take them to win as well. I think those losses in that front seven are going to be pretty tough for UNC to overcome. I also think the coaching situation, everything going on there, I get it. It's a lot of distractions. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not good. But just the vibes right now, I feel like UConn's going to go into Fenway Park, by the way, cold weather, right? Not far from Connecticut is Boston, right? So you're going to have, I think, a good amount of support there, for your Huskies. And by the way, the basketball team is kind of struggling right now. So I do wonder if there's some more attention turned to the football team who won 8 games this year, and you'll see some support there. Obviously, I don't know how much of a deal that will actually make, but something interesting to think about.
Yeah, and when I look at it too, I mean, you played some good rushing attacks, and when I mean some, I mean what? Georgia Tech, really? Like, if you look at up and down their schedule, I guess Minnesota, but actually, when we realized later in the season is that maybe that Minnesota team wasn't all that effective at running the football,
They weren't.
right? Like, how many good, effective, really good rushing attacks did you play against this year? I would argue that's probably just Georgia Tech,
Well,
and
maybe Boston College, but you also gave up
maybe,
41 points to them.
yeah, exactly. So I'm with you, dude. I'm leaning UConn here. I think they're going to come out here with an edge. I do think that, yeah, some of those pieces, losing Robinson is a big deal. And by the way, if you don't know how good he was, right, there was what, like 3 running backs in college football that qualified, like that had over like 200 carries or something, that averaged more than 7 yards per carry. It was like Isaac Brown, Ashton Genty, and like one other player. I did that.
AJ
That's a
Turner.
that is an elite group to be in, right? So I'm not trying to minimize the loss of that, but like you said, I think they do have guys there. UNC missing those pieces in the front seven, the coaching, like, I guess missing your coach, right? Having Bill Belichick come in, not that he's there or anything. I just think that there is a lot of uncertainty in the back of these players' minds. I think UConn has an identity. I think Fagnano is a guy. I think that they're going to want to run the football, and I think they're going to be able to establish the run. You may not think of UConn as a physical football team, but they've kind of played like that this year. They've kind of played like that this year. The question is, I do think Jacoby Criswell is a good quarterback, and I do think that North Carolina has weapons on offense. Obviously, losing Hampton is a big deal, but there's still talent there, right? There's still talent there at that receiver spot that they can maybe take advantage of this UConn secondary that maybe isn't all that great, right? So, and you're also losing your starting cornerback Malcolm Bell. So I am a little bit nervous about that, but I do think UConn, if they can control the time of possession, if they can continue to run the football, Fagnano can play at his level that he can play at. Um, yeah, I think UConn can definitely win this game. I'll take him plus 2.5. I'll take him to win as well. So I'm with you.
Yeah, I will say about UNC too, like Jahvari Ritzie is going to be playing a lot more because you also have Travis Shaw, who had over 300 snaps, that's not playing in the interior for UNC. He's a really good football player. I saw him live up in Minnesota in week 1 in the Thursday night game. It's a very good football player. Bo Atkinson, he's also there. They both had 6.5 sacks. Those are going to be important pieces because, yes, you have to replace, the production of Kamon Rucker, Shaw, right, Amari Campbell, Blitzen as well. But to get this UConn offense like off schedule, because if you don't have maybe the home run hitter like Robinson who can just take the ball and just go, right? But and also UConn did not give up many sacks when Fagnano was playing, right? I also want to mention UConn's receiver here, Skylar Bell and TJ Sheffield, I think are pretty darn good. And I think UNC, there's spots to be had against them in that secondary as well. So that could be something to keep an out there. 92nd in pass defense allowed, right, in the country. That's not very good, not where you want to be. And also emphasizing that spot that Omarion Hampton being gone, he is such a game changer for them. Yes, I get it. Like Criswell's solid for them at quarterback. You've got JJ Jones, Passor, McCollum. Those guys can get it done for sure at the wide receiver position. But I do think having a guy like Hampton in like these kinds of games, like we saw what it did for LaQuint Allen, right, in Syracuse, and how well he ran the football. You've seen other guys, right, just very good running backs, like be able to almost take over football games in these bowl games, especially if you may be missing some guys here and there, even if your left tackle, not going to be there as well. Harold Sampson, he's such like an equalizer, right? Like, yeah, with him gone, I feel pretty good about UConn here. Plus, also, we talked about the weather yet? I mean, I don't know exactly. It's hard to tell.
The Northeast is maybe getting some showers. So,
yeah, North Carolina, they get a little bit cold weather there, so I'm not too worried about like them freezing, right? But I also think, like, not like the playoff games where it was SMU and some of those other teams going up north, but I do think it's worth noting. And also, too, that turf, right, or grass, whatever it is at Fenway Park, has historically always been terrible, right? And same with the Bronx. We'll talk about the Pinstripe Bowl in a second here, but it's something worth noting. And if you had a guy like Marion Hampton, it would be really nice if teams are struggling to tackle, if defenses are struggling to move and be fast. Have a guy you can just turn around and hand the ball to, and really give some punishment to the defense.